Can the mic be passed on, please?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ero Pochanpu. I'm manufacturing my own ice. I sell ice cubes and ice blocks. So I'm supplying ice in Tukam's and I'm planning to move to Mohlakeng.
Okay, the Iceman. Okay, summer is here now. Can you please support the Iceman? Do you have ice now? Did you bring some today?
Bring it now.
Okay, all right. One more, and then we proceed. Are we sorted, gentlemen? One more. Ladies, it seems it's only the gentlemen. The platform is open to you too. In fact, you are encouraged to sell your businesses too. Even if you have an idea your business hasn't started yet, or you are in a supporting role in the business environment, or you are mentoring someone, it may be a friend, it may be a neighbor, please do let us know. We are here to share information within the entire entrepreneurship ecosystem and not just those who are right in the front of the battlefield.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Kagiso Tamapo. Born here in Mohlakeng. I'm operating bakery here in GEP. We currently distributing bread for game. We also do cakes. Any custom cake that you may think of, you just have to call me. We're on the stage where almost shut down by lockdown based on the interest issues, the compliance with the police, because we really know what to do, what is wrong, what is wrong. But luckily we were able to suffice and do the right thing. Thank you.
Actually, some people are still very paranoid about going out. So you could actually get these young people that are in the township to actually go and deliver the bread at all of these houses. When you take orders in the morning, 2 rands each, and then bread is delivered at your house. Why not? But let your business suffer because of that. Are we back online? Are we sorted? Okay. Kindly confirm with the colleagues across the 10 eKasiLabs if I am audible. Ms. Kauchalatsoka, the floor is yours, ma'am. Excuse me. From the very beginning. Okay. I thought it was being recorded. Oh, okay. Good afternoon. Welcome to Mohlakeng eKasiLabs. My name is Buti Makama, and I'll be the program director for the day. It took some doing for some of you to be here today. Some of you might have been disillusioned because of the lockdown that we experienced this year. The lockdown that we might still experience if we are not careful. But you see, the human spirit is very resilient. And it is for that reason that you rose this morning, you're still keeping up with your business, you're still holding on strong, you still believe in your dreams, and you still have those goals. And with our assistance, we hope that you will be able to achieve them. Look at the person right next to you. Right inside that person is the spirit of a winner. Some of that spirit might have been timid now because of the pandemic or whatever challenge we are facing personally or in our businesses. However, I am hoping that at the end of this session, we will have reignited that excitement and that spirit to move forward. And with that, a round of applause to everyone who's here to say thank you for pushing yet another day. I will invite Ms. Kauchalatsoka, our Acting General Manager for eKasiLabs, to come and share a few words. Ms. Kauchalatsoka, a round of applause, please.
Distinguished guests, entrepreneurs, stakeholders and colleagues, it is with great pleasure that I welcome you to this event of our very own eKasiLabs Innov8. My name is Kauchalatsoka. I'm the Acting General Manager of eKasiLabs, and I would like to welcome you all. Today's theme and topic of discussion is business compliance and competitiveness, which was inspired and thought through as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, which immensely affected our small businesses and our incubated companies in our programs and across the entire enterprise development ecosystem. The Innovation Hub takes pride in achieving objectives and milestones that are focused on adding significant value to the growth and development of our companies. Access to market is one of our fundamental value-added services and support that we provide to our entrepreneurs across our programs and our incubators. During the pandemic, a number of procurement opportunities were offered to our incubated businesses, and the challenge we encountered was that most of these businesses were non-compliant, preventing them from competing in market at large and restricting them from securing any contracts due to a number of factors related to compliance. As a unit, we saw it fit today that we focus on compliance in its entirety, keeping in mind the companies and small businesses that have been affected since the implementation of the national lockdown, and how most of these entities were unable to generate an income. As program owners, we are compelled to implement measures on how to mitigate challenges faced by companies. This session will enlighten and broaden our minds and moreover provide perspective and direction on how to ensure our businesses in our incubators are compliant and not only limited to tax compliance, but extended further to good manufacturing practices and the standards required thereof to remain competitive in the industry. I hope we all engage in this discussion and acquire knowledge that will strengthen our capabilities and skills, as well as our expertise, which we already possess, and in turn result towards building successful enterprises which are formalized and can compete in local and international markets. I thank you.
Ms. Kauhalatsuka, thank you very much. And with that, Albert Kemers continues. Before the vastness of the undertaking, let no one forget strength of character. I don't mean the theatrical kind of political platforms, complete with frowns and threatening gestures, but the kind that through the virtue of its purity and its sap, stands up to all the winds that blow in from the sea. Such is the strength of character that in the winter of the world will prepare the fruit. Marana Sohoa, Area Innovation Manager for eKasiLab Mohlakeng, eKasiLab Sebokeng, the floor is yours. Sabat.
Thank you, Mr. Makama, our program director, and thank you, Mrs. Tuka, our general manager. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As my colleague has indicated, my name is Sehoa James, and I'm the program manager for eKasiLab in Mohlakeng. So I'm part of the collective that said and come up with a topic on business compliance and competitiveness. And it was a very painful process that we it was a very painful process that we as a unit had to go through on realizing the issues that our SMMEs were facing. Just a brief of background on the eKasiLab program to start. We say we are the vehicle that promote the culture of innovation and entrepreneurship in the townships of Gauteng. So you are more likely to find us in 10 areas or township areas in Gauteng, and we are focusing on new innovative output in the community. So I'm sure, ladies and gentlemen, in your different communities that you are viewing this session from, you are familiar with a picture that is presented every time we talk about township entrepreneurs, where you are more likely to find a spaza shop, you are likely to find a quarter shop, you are likely to find a tavern, a taxi, or a car wash. So this picture has been presented over the time that is what township entrepreneurship is about. Our program is about to change that. We are in the township to try and identify companies that are innovative, that we can develop and then provide support for. Part of what we do is we identify opportunities and market opportunities for these companies. We provide them with opportunities for funding. We provide skills, because we understand that these are some of the major challenges that hinder their progresses as entrepreneurs. And what COVID-19 has done to these businesses, we can say it just nailed the coffin on this business. And when the president of the country announced the state of disaster in March, and the lockdown that was to start on the 26th of March, we knew that we are about to experience a bloodbath of small business failure, which will also accumulate into job losses. Before the lockdown, CEDA has estimated that almost 80% of SMMEs fails within the first five years of existence. And we can imagine today what it looks like. It has probably increased up to 90%. And this is a concern for us, because as an incubator, we are supposed to help these guys to survive. And we also acknowledge that SMMEs are the main drivers of this economy. If the SMMEs works, then we are more likely to create employment. If they fail, then as well the number of job losses will increase. As I was driving here this morning, I was listening in one of the radio stations, and they were talking about the unemployment figures that will be coming out later today from Stats SA. And what the analysts were indicating was we are more likely to see an increase from the 23% that we had during lockdown to almost 32%. Those are the people that we say they are looking for jobs and are not able to find jobs. They are not talking about people that have just given up on looking for jobs. Because if they include those people that are saying, you know what, it's not going to happen, I'm not going to get a job, probably we are close to 50%. And if we go back and then we look into our townships where we are based, then we find that we are even over 50% of unemployed, most of them being youth. So if you have such a number of youth being unemployed, you run the risk of having, I don't know what do you call it, but a situation that is ungovernable. When our youth are sitting at home idling, then we would end up with a whole lot of issues. So when the president of the country also announced that we're going to have 500 million available to SMMEs, it gave us a bit of hope as well as incubators, because we thought, oh, okay, it's not so bad after all. Our guys will be able to access the money. And we encourage them to go on and to find, to submit applications with their own banks, because there were guarantees that government provided to banks. And they came back to say, no, we do not qualify. We asked them to go on the www.smemesa.gov.za. They came back and said, yeah, we are struggling. We do not qualify for this fund. Upon checking, we found that our guys could not meet some basic requirements, that when we took them in, we made sure that they are in place. So during their period of stay with us, they neglected that part. Hence, they could not access some of the funds. It was as a result of that as a team we sat down and we said, how best can we support these guys? how can we teach these guys to be able to do their own things so that they don't depend on us, they don't depend on our mentors, but how can we get them to be able to do some basic stuff? And as a specialist in this sector, we have relationships with our stakeholders. We went on to our stakeholders to have these discussions where they indicated as well that they've got up-to-date systems. Everyone can access their systems and be able to do exactly the basic compliance that one needs to have. So as a result of that, we came up with today's topic, the business compliance and competitiveness, with the hope that by the time we are done, all the SMMEs that we are supporting would be able to do some of the basic things without the need of a mentor or a specialist that is based in our lab. So we are aiming this session today to our entrepreneurs that are under incubation in various labs. 10 of our eKasiLabs that are watching this live now. We are aiming this session today to our aspiring entrepreneurs who wants to start a business. So these are the guys that you find in the township, and we would like to encourage them to start, because if they start, support is available to get them to the next stage. If they don't start, we're going to have a lot of young people that are sitting at home committing crime and doing all the unnecessary things that we want to do away with. And lastly, this session we are aiming it on our stakeholders who we share common interest to develop and support SMMEs. The purpose of this session is to educate. It's to inform and provide a platform for our entrepreneurs to network with their peers. As colleagues have already indicated, this session is live on 5 of our eKasiLab centers. And we hope that the session, after the session, we'll go back and correct all these issues that we are having. We know that on the news we are hearing that the surge is coming back, the surge is coming. We want our guys to be ready. If it happens, we don't want you guys to be left behind again if the president announced a package that would support SMMEs. And guys, we are in Gauteng. South African economy works when Gauteng economy works. So if us here in Gauteng doesn't work, then the economy of this country is also not going to work. Gauteng sneezes and the whole country catches flu. Agire, we are the China of this country. So China sneezes and the whole world is catching flu. So in terms of who we have invited for this session today, we've invited the role players within the SMMEs development space to educate and inform our guys of the processes that they are now implemented that are cost effective and easy for our guys to use. We've invited CIPC, which they would share with us their presentation online. And I'm aware, and I hope you guys are aware how easy it is to register a company. But those that are not aware, these guys will be able to share with us. Annual returns must be paid every year, and it's so easy to pay them on their website. BE certificates and all those kind of things, they will be able to share with us. I've requested them to also just look at what we always do, the zero submission on annual returns, so that we pay the 100 rand. So they will also provide some clarity on that, how it affects us as SMMEs. We've invited SARS, because there's always an issue with SARS. If your tax clearance is not valid, you cannot compete on CSD. So we want them to show us how easy it is to get your tax compliance in order. But they will also tell us about the rebates that are available, so that we don't do submission of zero again at SARS. I'm sure this has an effect somewhere on us requesting assistance somewhere. So maybe it's something that we need to look at. We also invited Arevoke project. Arevoke project is one of our internal mentors, and he's specializing in cosmetics. He's going to, because I think the reason we invited Araboke is because of the number of companies that are starting in the township that are in the cosmetic space. So we've invited this guy in order for him to assist us, share with everyone the knowledge that he's acquired, how to comply as a cosmetical company, and how do you become competitive. And I think one thing that must be clear is if you are not compliant, you cannot compete. We've also invited SABS, who would also share their presentation with us online. And I don't have to, I don't think I need to explain who SABS is. We all know what who SABS are, and what they do, and what their mark means. But they will also just clarify that for us. Lastly, we invited Productivity SA. Also, Mohlakeng is here with us. I think when it comes to Productivity SA, we are having some coaching relationship kind of. We're still trying to see if we can get them somewhere very close to us. But we invited them in as well because we understand that productivity is important. And if you're productive, you're more likely to compete. So we invited them as well so they can tell us who they are, what their roles are, what their role is in the SMME space. And they will also just share with us maybe example of how somebody can improve their productivity and how do you compete. But important for me is to everyone is we have to work as SMMEs. We have to change the landscape of the township entrepreneurs especially. And to do that, we need this kind of activity. We need to network. We need to upskill ourselves. And we need to identify mentors that could mentor us in the community. And I think that is all I have to say. And I want to wish everyone best of luck today. Hopefully we'll have a network session of some sort during the part of the 2 hours. And you guys can conclude some business with us. Thank you.
Colleagues, friends, guests, I've been exposed. I just got pictures of myself clearing my nose from earlier. So it seems all of these pictures were being beamed while I thought we hadn't started with the videography. However, it made me think that it was a good idea to actually invite CIPC because you could find yourself exposed when you do business without having registered. Do you comply? Are your affairs in order?
You can even take this. But
it's very important that you comply, that you find yourself in good standing. But good standing does not only mean that you register your business. Every person can simply go out, reserve a name, and claim to have a business. But you need to be in the business of creating business, the business of creating jobs, the business of growing the country. And with that, I would like to invite CIPC. I believe they are already online and they've joined us. Could I get an indication from our team that CIPC is beaming already? As soon as the link is secured, I expect to see it now on screen. But in the meantime, Mr. Sekgowa touched on quite a number of few things. He spoke about the standards that we have, which we will be discussing with SABS. And therefore, our registration and compliance need not only be about having registered or reserved the name. It's also important that the quality of the product that you have and sell to the market is a sort of product that you would be happy to buy. Think about it this way. And please be honest about this. When you look at your product and you think of your last business sales pitch, if you were a customer, would you buy because of the sales pitch that you just delivered? And if not, I suppose there's room for improvement. Go out and do improve. Raise the standards and raise the bar. It cannot be that we are always saying we need business and we need support when we do not raise the bar ourselves. Are we linked, colleagues? While Mr. Sukhuwa today was driving over and listening to radio, I was listening to music. I listened to the radio and discussions much earlier, and thereafter it's about music. It gets me going. And I think one of the greatest gifts that one can ever share with another is the gift of music. And therefore, for the entrepreneurs here, it's not only about your business, remember, it's about the individual as well. So some words of motivation for you. From the legendary George Benson. It might have been before your time for some of you. Might have been after our time for some of us. Oh, how I wonder. It really makes me wonder. What happened to all the plans that we made? Looks like they are all out of view. Oh, when every day life changes, the set, it rearranges. And all the players change their costumes. But the players remain, just change their costumes. Well, I know we need a brand new day. With what I see, we need a new day. Well, I know we've got to have a new day, and that new day is coming soon. And I hope with this new day, the CIPC has come through. It seems the gentleman on the other side, can you hear us? We'd like to secure the audio. It seems the video link has been secured, but we just need to confirm if there's audio. see now so many people have applied for business plans, and they were given business plans that were simply downloaded from the internet, where you were starting a business, you just registered a name and you hoped to open up a cleaning company, but your projections on the business plan were up to $20 billion even, and not South African rands. That can be very daunting. One bite at a time, one step at a time, and you will definitely get there. And the man with expertise is sitting right there at the back. One more elevator speech. Sir, I will be coming to you. I'm hoping for a lady now. I am hoping for a lady. Ladies going once, ladies going twice. Someone who's always speaking is awfully quiet today. One more elevator speech. Sir, you may go.
Thank you very much.
Just one more elevator speech, and I just need confirmation that the link is secured and audio so that the audience this side can participate.
Hello.
Sir, yes.
Thank you very much.
Proceed.
My name is Everett Muduiwa. Now that we are talking of business here, I stand in for Nalem Development Foundation. We are there to empower people, because when you are doing business, you need skills from all angles of business. We are there to empower people to be skilled. More details will come.
Thank you, sir. I believe the link has been secured. Are we ready to proceed? Are we ready to proceed? Can I please have the screen beamed, just so that I am sure? Men have been accused of all things, like lying. So you can imagine now if I say to people the link has been secured, and it's not. Mr. Simon? But what do I do? I'm on speaker. To my mic. To my mic. Say, how are you? Hello? It seems we are having a hiccup, and we'll have to make a call now. We have the lady from Productivity SA. Ma'am, are you ready to take us through some of the details from the Productivity SA and what it is about? And I'm hoping that some questions will be answered. For instance, most of us will be saying, I'm in production, but what does it mean? Is your business actually productive just because you're producing something? What are the levels of productivity? What are the considerations that you need to have for your business to be producing optimally? I am hoping that these are some of the issues that will be touched on. I will be engaging the CIPC at a later stage, hoping that the technical issues will have been sorted out. Ma'am, welcome to the
Hello. Can you hear me? Okay. Good afternoon. Dumelang Apheni. Goeiemiddag. Am I right? Okay. My name is Rose Mpho Moreng. I'm from the organization called Productivity SA. Have you ever heard of us? attended course with us. Okay. Productivity SA is a parastatal. We're reporting to Department of Employment and Labor. Our purpose or our mission statement is to lead and inspire a productive and competitive South Africa. Our mission statement is to improve productivity by diagnosing. Okay. Our mission statement is to improve productivity by diagnosing, advising, implementing, monitoring, and evaluating solutions aimed at improving South Africa sustainable growth, development, and employment through increased competitiveness. So, in a nutshell, we are mandated to promote or to improve productivity in South Africa. Productivity and competitiveness. So, we are here today. The main purpose of today is for us to check whether we are compliant and also whether we are competent. So you cannot be competent or compete with other companies if you are not productive. So question can come to say, what do we mean? What is productivity? So productivity is how you measure, how well do you measure your resources that you use to produce outputs. So how well do you measure your resources? The next question is, what are the resources? The resources we mean your inputs. Your inputs, it will be your manpower, people who will be your employees, for an example, your manpower, your machinery, your money, your material. How well do you utilize all of these resources? So we call them resources. So we are more interested in the process. How do you manage all of these resources for you to be able to produce more output? Output will be the end product. In most cases, we find that companies, they do have money, they do have equipment, they do have everything, but they struggle to improve their productivity levels. So we are here as Productivity SA to say we can assist you in improving your productivity levels. And how do we do that? We partner with organizations such as eKasiLab, such as GEP, such as SEDA. So we do have memorandum of understanding with such organizations, and then we do profiling of the companies under, for an example, eKasiLab, and then we will then be able to determine the program that is suitable for that group. So it's not I drink all. It depends on the type of people or the type of profiling that we have done with that organization. Then for the other important issue here is competitiveness. For you to be able to compete, you need to be productive, right? So what is competitiveness? Competitiveness is the ability of a nation or its enterprises to gain global market share for inputs, products, and services. We do have a challenge in South Africa. Most of our products are we import, right? Instead of us exporting products to other countries. So in that, we end up, our GDP of the country, which is the gross domestic product of percentage of the country, it becomes low because of we do more of importing than us exporting products to other countries. So in that way, we need to improve our productivity for us to be able to be competitive with other organizations or with other countries. So how do you become competitive with other countries? You can only be compatible with other countries or with other organizations if you learn, if we learn the best practice from them. So it means we need to do more research about the product that you are producing or about the services that you are offering, so that you become compatible with other organizations. Okay? Now, what is our our functions what is our functions and value proportion? Our functions, we do have 5 functions that it's mandated of us. It's to promote a culture of productivity in the workplace, number 1. We also mandated to facilitate and evaluate productivity improvement and competencies in workplaces, to measure and evaluate productivity in the workplace, to maintain a database of productivity and competitiveness systems, and to publicize these systems. And also to undertake productivity-related research. The last one is to support initiatives aimed at preventing job losses. So right now, currently we do have a program with Department of Labor, whereby we are mandated to prevent job losses. How do we do that? We go into your organization, and the first thing that we do assessments. So those assessments, first thing that we will need from you as an organization, we need financial statements for us to check whether your business is doing well or not. So your financial statements must be a true reflection of your organization. What do I mean by a true reflection? We know we do have our SMMEs or our companies, they do have 3 types of financial statements. The one that goes to SARS, the one that goes to funders like your banks, and the one that goes to anyone. So all of those 3, they are not the same. And the company it's still one company. So what am I saying to you? Please have one financial statement that talks to your organization or that presents your organization. That's the important thing. So when we request your financial statements, please make sure that it reflects your organization, because we will be able to determine your cost, to check your costs, whether you are losing or you are making money. From that financial statements, we will then write a report. So from that report, the report will then determine the type of interventions that we can come and implement in your organization, because we cannot have one program for everybody. So we come into your organization and check all the processes, your financial statements, and then determine later what kind of program that we can implement in your organization. I don't know if I'm clear, if you understand. If there are questions, I'm here to answer.
Kilo reka sepa mo shopong a gona gore nka isa bankeng a gona gore nka etsa for tax return re sebetsa yang batho ba yalo le ba thusa bang.
Can you repeat your question again, Papa?
coming to financial statement, let me say ke qala run a business. Or I can run up, but I don't have enough equipment to run that business. I need some help. But ba yo le ba thusa jang? Because I got kgone go tswa mo isa tšhelete bankeng.
Okay, thank you. Like I said at the beginning, we do have various programs, right? For it depends on what the stage sub business ya go se mo kae. I would say your business is a startup business. So for a startup business, we do have programs that are suitable for the startup businesses. So we will then help you to be able to, like, we will have a program, for an example, your financial management system. We will come into your business and check all of those, develop something that will help you to be able to record your finances. Okay. Akizora ke go arabile papa. All right. Okay, thank you. The easiest way to reach us is through, I believe all of you are under eKasiLabs. Most of you are under eKasiLabs. So we do have MOUs with such organizations. So like in Tate Sekhuwa Onare, we Productivity SA, it's invited here. Then later we will have meetings with their organization, and then it will then from there they will be able to give us the database, and then we work through that database. There's an unfortunate part because if you are not in that, then you'll need to pay. So if only under eKasi or only under GEP SIDA, we are able to, because it's sister relationship, so we are able to have MOU and then take it from there. Is it clear? Thank you.
Number one, to do maybe financials, I think it costs more, about 5,000. And then if I am a Kasi guy where I was staying in Mohlakeng and then I'm doing car wash, I need to start a business. I need to register my business. I need to make a system. What help you will make me? Because I started this business from 50 rand, and then I don't have a financial, I don't have financials, I don't have bank statement, I don't have a bank account. So how do you help me as that individual, or as me and my brother here? How will you help us as your company?
Okay, thank you, Ntate. Question now is on Ntate Mo. Oh, okay. Okay. What I said, Kirile, we do have programs, ne? We do have programs that we do have various interventions for, it depends on what stage are you in business. So if it's a startup business, we have program like, for an example, how to write a business plan, for an example. And other programs will be basic financial statement, basic financial management. So we take you through steps on how to improve your finances, on how to keep records. So in that way, we are building up for you to be able, at the end of the day, or at the end of our program, you will be able to develop a financial statement. Because a financial statement, sometimes I give the terms. Financial statement, it means the money coming into the business and the money going out of the business. How the recording of that, that's what is important. So rona ha re bua the word financial statement, we tend to say di batla 5,000 and all that. But at the end of the day, compliance is very important. I mean, we are not the only one as Productivity SA who are looking for financial statements. Am I right? You go to SARS, you go to wherever they are, they want financial statements. So what I would really urge you as an organization to have something, records, your money in, your money out. And then from there we will be able to help you to compile a financial statement, which is your income statement and a balance sheet. Akzura ke go arabile. Okay.
Let's give just one more question, and the lady take a seat so that we proceed with the video link.
Okay.
We've secured the video link now. Yes,
Any other question? Okay, no, thank you very much. For more information, you can write www.productivitysa.co.za. For further discussion after this, I will be here maybe for some minutes. If only a question, you can come to me and then I will be there to assist. Thank you very much.
Another round of applause. Ma'am, thank you so much for your time. I think it is very important that we really pay attention to all of these presentations, because we'll be getting one type of assistance from one organization and one is inclined to help you in another. And I can safely commit my colleagues as well as the Innovation Hub now that what we will do is to provide a snippet of what each organization does, and perhaps we can simply mail it. For as long as you are on our mailing list, we'll provide that information to know exactly what sort of assistance you'll be getting from Productivity SA, what sort of assistance you can get from CIPC, and all the other organizations that have been set up by government or the private sector to assist you as an aspiring or existing business person. The technical team has assured me now that Mr. Simon Fenyane from CIPC is ready to deliver his speech via video link. Sir, welcome to eKasiLab. Are we able to get audio? Oh, yes. Just as a warning, note that with the Zoom link, for those who do not have experience with it, there is sometimes a time delay. So when you say hello, by the time you walk out the door, the person might actually be saying hello back to you. But we have reliable internet here provided by GBN, by government.
Hello?
Sir, you may
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, sir. Sir, we can hear you. You may proceed. I think each one of us deserves a video clip of us doing this exactly. So post-COVID, and it'll be your COVID memories. This is what I looked like when I thought everyone could hear me and my mic was actually on mute. Mr. Fenyane, you are audible on our side. You may proceed, sir. Mr. Sekhowa, Mr. Sekhowa, Mr. Sekhowa, Mr. Sekhowa, Mr. Sekhowa, Mr. Sekhowa. Please call Mr. Fenyane. While we wait for the link to be sorted, that I thought had been sorted.
Hello? Sure.
Let's enjoy this.
Oh, you can hear
I
me?
won't tell him.
Can you allow me to share my screen, my presentation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sure. Okay.
It happens to the best of us. You may kill my mic, sir.
Hello? Can you hear me? Hello? Okay, can you see my screen, my presentation? Okay, sure. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. And then sorry about the delays and technical problems. They do happen. You just bear with us. My name is Simon Fenyani. I'm from Companies and Intellectual Property Commission. In short, it's CIPC. CIPC is an agency of the Department of Trade and Industry. But I'll just try to be brief to the point. So we are going to talk about the company's registration and issues that relates to compliance. So now this is the agenda, benefit of business registration companies and all these channels of registration, and as well as the customer query resolution systems. So now, in the interest of time, we'll skip benefits of business registration, and but we will make a presentation available on request. If you want to request a presentation, do it through Innovation Hub, and then we'll make it available to you. So these are the channels of registration. If you want to formalize your company, if you want to register or do some other services with CIPC. So these are the channels for registration. And then we have one that is called a BIS portal. Secondly, e-services. And then we have our self-service centers. And then also a number of banks. Your ABSA, FNB, SASFIN, Netbank, and Standard Bank, where you can go and register your business. So now with e-services, customers are guided on the CIPC webpage from the homepage to where to with a business registration, maintenance, intellectual property, and how to do a search. But what is important here is that if you want to transact with CIPC, you need to create a customer code first. That's the starting point. You need to create a customer code, and then this customer code is a reference number. And then whenever that you make payment on CIPC account, then you use that customer code as the reference number. And then we also have banking details that are also available on our website. And then should you have some problems, also we have the step-by-step guides that are available to assist you if you need any additional information, or how to create a customer code, how to register a company, or how to file annual returns and so forth. So now the next slides, if you see on the next slides, say for example, if you want to create a customer code or you want to register a company, once you log on a CIPC website, then you can click on online transacting. If you can look at that yellow arrow, then you click on online transacting, and then you can drop it down. If you drop it down, then you click on e-services. And then once you click on e-services, then it takes to another page that I'll talk about on the next slide. Then the next yellow arrow is on useful tools. Once you click on useful tools, and then you go also to access, that's where you will see all these step-by-step guides. So now the next slide is on customer registration. If you want to register as a customer, you see that yellow arrow, then you click on a customer. If you log in, you click on customer login, and then if you register, then you click on customer registration. And then we also have videos that are also available, that are covering all our services. So you can click on those videos. Say for example, if you want to check video on registration, then you click on that video, or annual return, how to file annual returns. Then you click on that video to see how can you file annual returns. So now these are our services that are offered on e-services. So you have a company registration, director amendments, annual returns, you can name them. So if you want to check on this, then log on our website, go on online transacting and click on e-services, and then it takes you customer login. Once you click on customer login, then you go to transact. Then once you are on transact, and then it will give another screen where you can see all our services. So now the next slide, this is just a summary. It's a steps to how to register a private company or non-profit company. The first step is to log on CIPC website. Once you are on CIPC website, then you register as a customer. Once that is done, then you can deposit some funds, which is 175 to register a company, and name reservation is 50 Rand, and then registration is 125. And then once that is done, that's where you start a name reservations. And then once that is been completed, then you start with the registration of company, and then from there you upload the documents that you will receive from your email, and then from there, and then the whole process will be finalized, and then you receive your certificate via email. And then we have the walk-ins. We have self-service centers and partner side. So this information is also available on our website. When you go onto our website, you can check, like we have one in Johannesburg, we have one here in Arcadia and Pretoria, and then we also have walk-ins in other areas as well, where you can go and do a company registration. You don't have to carry anything. They use you verify with your finger and so forth. We are connected with a Home Affairs, and then they will do all these things. You can even register your BEE, which is free of charge. So you can do all these services at our walk-ins. So now we have another platform which we use to register businesses. We introduced the BIS portal. This BIS portal is fully automated, so there's no paper, there's nothing that you have to upload with this thing. And then what you do, you just actually use your ID for verification, and then from there you can register your business. You can even register what you call your BEE, triple BEE. So you can do all these services as well as the domain name registration on Beach Portal. So it's fully automated. So you don't need to complete any paper on it. So now one other thing that is also very, very, very important in terms of the New Companies Act is that the name reservation is not compulsory. So however, with a cooperative's name reservation is compulsory now, and then they've introduced this system, or you can even register cooperatives online as well. So now, if say for example your name maybe is you register a company and then your name gets rejected or somehow, or you can even register a company without, and then it will come. They will actually give it a number, and then you can trade with that number. Say for example, if you want to change that number in the near future, you can even change that number. You just reserve a name after the approved name, and then from there you log on our e-services, and then you change the company name. And then the types of companies that we register profit and non-profit companies, and then but for SMME strictly is private companies, and then it's 175 for registration, inclusive of a name reservation. Registration is 125, name reservation is 50 rand. Then we have this other registration, like your public companies, state-owned companies, external companies, and then personal liability companies. Those are some of the for professionals and so forth. But for strictly for SMMEs, you go for a private company. And then one other thing that is a burning issue is the annual returns. And then it is compulsory for all companies. Either external companies, non-profit companies, public companies, state-owned companies, all companies must file annual returns. So it is very important on your anniversary date that you remember to go and file your annual returns. So, and then it's this, you do it electronically, so there's no manual for it. You log on e-services, you go to CIPC website, log on CIPC website, go to e-services, and then file annual returns. Now for companies, you file within 30 business days after the registration of anniversary date. And then we still have those who registered CC a long time. So for CCs, you file within registration anniversary month up to a month thereafter. And then so for annual returns, you can even go on our website. Once you log on our website, you can calculate and how much you have to pay. So once you know how much you pay, then you go, you pay with our CIPC banking details, but you must remember to use your customer code as the reference number. So you can even use the mobile app that is available that you can download and then check as to how much you have to pay. So with these annual returns, you can either use your what you call your customer account, or you can use the debit card or credit cards to make payment. So now this the annual returns fees, and then these are it depends on the turnover of a company. So for example, let's just give an example. Start with the first one. If your company maybe it makes less than 1 million per annum, obviously what you need to is to pay 100 rand. But if you don't pay in time, or there will be penalties that will be added into it. And then one other thing that is very important is that once a company is registered, whether the company is in business or is not doing anything, but you still have to file annual returns, and then it's 100 rand. And then if you do that, obviously your company will be deregistered, and then it does by the system. The system will automatically deregister you. Or maybe if you go to SARS, you want to file the tax returns. So don't confuse them. Don't confuse annual returns with tax returns. Tax returns, you go to SARS. So if you go to SARS, obviously they will be able, because we are linked with our system, then they will be able to tell you if it's in a deregistration process or if it will be is totally deregistered. So it is very, very, very important that you comply and you make sure that you are up to date with your annual returns. So now this is the screen of e-services. If you go to our website, which is www.cipc.co.za, then you click on online transacting, then you drop down to e-services, then you log in with your customer code and password, and you click on transact. Once you click on transact, then it gives you this screen. And then the one that is circled with the red, and then that's where you click if you want to file annual returns. You click there, and then it will show another screen where you can use the calculator to check as to how much you have to pay. And then you just type in your enterprise number, and then you follow the, and then from there it will show you as to how much you have to pay. So these are all these services that you can do if once you are in our e-services. So now one other thing is that you need to know or to be aware of is that this financial accountability statement and the audited financial statement. And then for the private companies, it is also compulsory that when they submit the annual returns, or you can even do it before, but we advise you when you file annual returns, and then that's why it's just a questionnaire. You see it, well, once you are there, then you just choose FAS. So don't confuse it with AFS. AFS is for audited financial statement. It's for big companies. So now you choose a financial accountability supplement. So it's just a questionnaire where you have to complete some questions, and then from there you submit your annual returns. So now for those companies, the big companies, or those companies, even if they're small, but there's companies, small companies that opt to be audited. So if, say, for example, you opt to be audited, and then from there you use what you call XBRL. This is the system that CIPC introduced to file the financial statement. So if you want more information about XBRL, please go to our website. On the home page, you see it top right, you see it XBRL, you click on it, it gives you the whole information. So now for query, customer query resolution, we advise people to we discourage them actually not to use the call center number, because many people are calling on that number and then it's always engaged, or they don't answer the phone and so forth. But we have what we call a query resolution system where you can log on a CIPC website, and then you log in with your customer code and password, and then you choose the department. Say, for example, if it's about finances, maybe you want a refund, or maybe you want a reallocation of funds, then you choose finance. If it's company, you choose company. If it's IP, and then you choose IP, and then those queries will be escalated to the relevant department. So, and then again, one other thing is that we are also available on Facebook. We are there. Twitter, we are there. So just try to use all these facilities if you have, or if you are frustrated, and then CIP staff will gladly assist you. And yeah, this brings me to the end of my presentation, and then I thank you.
So we'll move directly to that. We will not interrupt the link. Just a tiny interruption, but I believe it is ready, right? Yes. In the meantime, just a friendly reminder to
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon, ma'am. Continue, we can hear you.
Okay, my name is Trifina Lepopana. I'm from SARS.
Yes, we can see everything. Continue, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to share with you the Small Business Corporation. Okay, in SARS, we've got 3 categories. Okay, I'm going to start with sole proprietor. Okay, at SARS, we say as an individual, you can register a business, but you will be a single owner. Then the business will not be known to SARS. It will be only you that is registered to SARS with your tax number. Business decisions are made by only you, and then you receive all your profit for yourself. And then we say it is limited only to one skill. Why are we saying that? It is only you who is operating a bond, a loan to continue the business. Your private asset is at risk, attached to your business. Yeah? And then we say a sole proprietor. Business is not seen as a tax entity. What we mean when we say that? You are registered to SARS, but your business is not registered to SARS. You are paying tax on your profits. And then we say the business name also is not registered to SARS, is only the owner with the ID number that you are registered to SARS. And then you get profit, then you pay taxes on your profit. Then we come to the partnership. Partnership, we say it's 2 or more. 2 or more meaning you register yourself, all of you, if you are 3, and then you pay tax on the shared profit from each and every one of you. We've got greater financial strength, lead business decisions because you are two or more. You've got different decisions when you do the brainstorming. It's easy to establish also and then easy to discontinue also. The business is not registered at SARS. It's only the individuals, the partners that are registered at SARS. Okay. Partnership also, we say the disadvantages is when the other partner leaves the partnership, you have to close the business. There is no legal entity on the business on this because it's only you who are registered, not the business is not registered at SARS. So you only pay taxes after sharing your profit from your business. Okay, the advantages is wider knowledge and skills when you do the brainstorming, and then the contributions. You can contribute in percentages in the business, so there will be money in the business. Then we come to the company that I know most of you want it. You mostly go to CIPC and register a company. We are saying a company is an entity on its own. Saying that, we are saying it's a legal entity. It has to register, have its own tax number. And you must register, also have your own tax number. So most of the time when people want the tax clearance, they forget that we also check your compliance and we check the company's compliance. And it will depend whether the company is registered with three taxes, VAT, pay-as-you-earn, and income tax. And then also the investors on the company must have tax numbers, must register also. Okay, we say company needs to register as a taxpayer. And then company is responsible to pay taxes on its profit. And then we say the directors have to pay as you earn. You must remember, when you've got a company, you also earn a salary from the company. So that salary that you are earning from the company, you have to pay as you earn, as well as the employees that are working for your company that have to pay as you earn. Immediately, if they earn more than the threshold of 2021, that is 83,100, then they have to pay tax. The company, if your employees are earning more than the threshold, you have to register for pay as you earn. And registering for pay as you earn, each and every month, you deduct tax from your employees and pay it over to SARS. Okay, we say subject to legal requirements, a company, it's not simple, easy to operate. So there's legal requirements, like audited financial statements. Sometimes they need that when you do the business with other people. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, and then we say it's more expensive to operate because of those financial statements. I was listening to other speakers, people complaining about the payments of the financial statements. Okay, for us, we don't want audited financials. We make it easy for the taxpayers. You can submit even if it's not audited. Okay. No, I will never come to your trust to save your time. And then we say, as everybody registered for a company, at SARS, we make sure that we check whether this person qualifies to be a company. There are people that we call small business, people that are still starting on business for businesses. So we call them small business corporations. So we say, you submit your tax return, and we at SARS, we declare you as a small business corporation. And then you pay tax on the split rate as an individual person. You pay according to how much profit you got. But as a private company and a closed corporation, you must remember, we've got a flat rate of 28%. But if you see that your company is still starting afresh, you are still a new person on business, we will declare you as a small business corporation, but we've got rules. You must remember, as government, we want people to be employed. So if you help us by reducing unemployment, but when I say reducing unemployment, I'm not meaning you go and employ only your relatives, or you've got one or two businesses that you operate. It means you still have money, or you've got the investment at the bank that you invested, you still have money. We will be checking all those things and see that genuinely your business is starting and you don't have any other businesses, or at your company you did not employ other people either than South African citizens. You only employed maybe your family, only your connected people are being employed, or you've got other businesses that you've got shares at. Okay, so we are saying if we declared you as a small business corporation, you will be taxed on the rates of the individual, meaning you are taxed from 18% to 45%, and then you will be taxed according to how much profit you made. We won't be saying you are taxed on 28%, but you have to meet the requirements. As I was saying, one of the requirements is to help us reduce unemployment, not only to employ your relatives, and not have any other connection to other businesses. So what do we mean? We're saying that we will be checking your ITC, whether you are connected to any other companies. Okay, this is a tax table, but it's for individuals. It's the rebate for the individuals. But as a small business corporation, you will be qualifying for this. But as a company, you must remember it's 28% and it ends there. Okay, we are saying, most of the people, they will be saying they are afraid of SARS coming to submit. At the end of the day, when they want tax clearances, they won't get them because they are not compliant. At SARS, let me explain this block. Let's say you are starting a business. The first year of the business, we know there's always problems. Then you operated at a loss of 30,000. The second year of business, there will be another problem, maybe, but lesser than the first one. The loss is 18,000. The third year, it's a profit of 45,000. What do? We say you operated at a loss of 30,000 and a loss of 18,000. When we add them together, it will be 48,000. So, but your profit is 45,000. So it means you will be running over on a negative. We won't tax you again. It will be a zero for the third year. So, and then you are left with 3,000 that we still have to deduct from your profit, because the first one was 48 and 45. Now the following year is 53,000. So on the 53,000, we subtract the 3,000. Then we left with 50,000. The 50,000, then we start taxing it from 50,000. We don't just tax you because you've got this amount of profit, then you come to SARS, then we tax you. After maybe 4 years or 5 years, you not making profit. No, we consider all those. But if you don't submit your tax returns yearly, you don't help us. We won't consider this because we won't even know how much loss did you make for the past few years. So it's best if you comply and submit your tax return so that we can see your problem and help you. Okay. We are saying small business corporation. We are not saying it's another type of business. This is what it SARS decide when they see that you are still a small business. You are starting your business. We are not saying people must always be small business. We like people, businesses growing. But as we see that your business is still starting, we will help you to be a small business corporation, but it's only for 12 months. After submitting your tax return for a year, and then we see that now you are coping, we can say you are no longer a small business corporation. So we're saying SBC is not a type of business. SBC is a type of tax incentive. What we mean, we're saying is reducing tax for you because you are still a small business. We're saying not more than 20% of your revenue may consist of investment income. As I was explaining it, sometimes you do have a business, but you also invested on the other companies or at the bank. You can invest on the other companies, have shares, getting interest from there. And then we're saying not more than 20% income from rendering a personal services. Let's say you've got a business and then you decide that your business colleagues, you are helping them with the submission of tax returns, CIPC problems, all those things. You are an accountant. So we also don't allow it. We see you as a person that can qualify and submit your taxes right. Okay. We're saying SBC requirements. A cooperative and a private company, is the ones that we're saying they are qualifying. It's not applicable to a sole proprietor. Already, you must remember, a sole proprietor is on the tax threshold of 18 to 45%. And a partnership and a trust have a separate tax, 45%. Shareholding held by a natural person, individual. So you must remember when I said you mustn't have shares with other companies. We will be checking also all those things. Shareholders to have no interest on other companies. Okay, gross income not exceeding 20 million. We also check on the gross income of per year. We can do the pro rata if your company didn't, you are not submitting for the whole year. Okay, we're saying also income investment is the example of the investment income. You must remember on the previous screen, I was talking about investment income. It can be dividend, it can be rental, it can be interest at the bank. So they're just giving the examples. Okay, and then connected person, relatives, as I was saying, it's examples. The slides are just showing the examples. Okay. As I was saying, SBC will pay reduced tax rates. It will be 83,000 a threshold. You must pay from 18% to 45%. And then no need to apply for the status. SARS will decide whether you are an SBC. Okay. We are talking about an example of income statement. Income statement is like a financial statement. If only as a business person, you can know how much you've got and then how much expenses you have, and then you arrive at your profit, and then we can only tax you on your profit. You can just do a T income statement. Before you come to a balance sheet, you do it yourself, say income and then expenditure, and then you arrive at your profit, and then that's the one that we are going to tax. If it's a loss, we carry it over to the following year, as I was explaining on the other slides. So sometimes you find that most of you submit nil returns always. And then we don't understand how can you say the business is operating, but you are only submitting nil returns. So at least if you submit, you operated at a loss, it's not that you are going to tax you. The tax, it will be zero. Okay, and then again, let me touch on registering for VAT. When you have to register for VAT, the business must be in operation. You can't say you are registering for VAT because you are waiting for a specific tender or waiting for funds from somewhere. We are saying you must be registered for VAT because the business is operating. You must remember, it's an invoice-based tax. It's an indirect tax. So if you register for VAT and the business is not operating, how are you going to submit your tax return? because you have to submit invoices. So that is the reason why we say the business must be in operation. Okay, we are saying when you apply for a VAT, okay, leave those other screens. Okay. The business must make a turnover of over $1 million, or for compulsory VAT registration, or if you are volunteering to register for VAT, it must be 50,000. So you can volunteer to register for VAT because you are making business with people that are registered for VAT, and you won't benefit if people are charging you VAT and when you can't claim VAT. So we allow you to voluntarily register for VAT even if you don't qualify. But the business must make a turnover of more than 50,000. Okay, we're saying the person registered or applying for VAT, you have to have a proper identification. You have to have your CK document if it's a company, proof of address, IDs of the members if it's a company, okay, let me come to voluntary and compulsory. Again, all voluntary, even if the business is not making 50,000, we are allowing the 4,200 also on a monthly basis. If you can show us that the business will make it within that 12 months, we can do the pro rata also and then help you register for VAT. VAT on a compulsory registration, the rates are 15% on VAT. If you are registered for VAT, we will be charging, the VAT is charged at a rate of 15%. Okay, then we come to compliance status. To certify that a taxpayer complies with the rules prescribed in the different tax laws, all relevant returns should be submitted. You must remember, when you do a TCS at SARS, we check your compliance. Then we give you what you call tax clearance usually. So we will be checking all the taxes. If you are registered for pay as you earn, if you are registered for VAT, we will be checking that. And then if you are registered for income tax, we will be checking that also. Then it will give you a compliance status. Tell us whether you are compliant or not. So if you are compliant, you will get a PIN for a tax clearance. That PIN you will use to submit to companies that wants a tax clearance from you. Or you can go on e-filing register and then print a tax clearance. At SARS, we don't print tax clearances. We only can offer you a PIN. But you must remember, due to COVID-19, we all encourage our taxpayers to register on e-filing and do their own tax returns on e-filing. And also the TCS, you do it on e-filing. And then after getting the PIN, you can submit it. But also check whether your compliance is red or green. If it's red, it will show you which returns are outstanding. Then you have to submit it first, and then it will change color, and then it will, the same PIN you can use for your compliance. Okay, I think that's all from me. Any question? Any question? Hello. Okay.
Presentation, and it will be shared with everyone who attended for as long as you are on the mailing list. Is it fine now? Is it fine? Okay. Fine. Okay. Fine. Okay. Fine. Okay. Fine. Okay. We will now proceed to the SABS presentation. Is the presenter ready to proceed immediately? While the signal is still strong, I would rather that we work on the links and everyone that is presenting remotely, and then we can afterwards take questions. For anyone who has questions, if you have more information that you require, we can then email it to you.
Yes, sir. Okay, thank you. Okay, let me start now. Thank you. Thanks. Good morning, colleagues. In fact, it's good afternoon. It's been a long day. Good afternoon, colleagues. I just want to... I just want to thank the organizers of this particular session for inviting SABS to have a word with SMMEs as well as cooperatives. And I hope and I believe that I'm audible enough. I'm just going to start with my slides. I've got pretty much quite a whole lot of slides, and I'll try and cut them short so that I am able to do this right on time. Now, the question would then be, who is SABS? SABS is a state-owned entity, that reports directly to DTI. We are more of your state-owned company. Now, as SABS, there are pretty much a number of services that we provide as an organization. And these are some of the services that we are providing as an organization. We develop South African national standards. Those who know them better, they call them SANS, which stands for South African National Standards. We develop private specifications as an organization. We sell national and international standards. We provide laboratory testing services. We provide product and system certification. Now, when you talk about product and system certification, one would ask and say, what is product certification? What is system certification? Product certification is when an entity has got a product that they are producing. For example, you're producing bottled water. That goes for product certification. You're producing bricks. That goes for product certification. And when we talk about system certification is when an organization is either producing a product, but they don't want to go for product certification, or they are rendering a service. And because you're rendering a service, when you apply for what we call system certification. Then we've got what we call consignment inspection. What is consignment inspection? Those who are into textile environment, those that are into textile business, they are producing school uniform, they are producing army uniform, police uniform, emergency services personnel's uniform. When you are requested to supply the army with uniform, before you can supply everything that they've ordered, they will request you to go for what we call consignment inspection. SABS will come in and inspect your products and verify if they are in line with the standards. Then we've got a dedicated SMME business unit that deals with SMMEs as well as cooperatives, making sure that you are assisted when you come to the SABS doors. We've got local content verification. There are products that are designated by DTI to be produced only in South Africa. One of those products is school uniform. It's office furniture for government, as well as school furniture. It's some of those products that are mandated as local content. Then we've got what we call IKS. What is IKS? It is Indigenous Knowledge Systems. We deal with ATMs. What are ATMs? Those are African traditional medicines. We assist SMMEs that are producing African traditional medicines because we have realized that these entities, they tend to lose out in the marketplace purely because their products are not properly commercialized. Their products are not tested. Their products are not verified whether they're good for human consumption or not. And that's where we come in as SABS and we collaborate with the likes of the Department of Science and Technology. We collaborate with the likes of Kemin and other entities to ensure that these SMMEs, they benefit when it comes to their African traditional medicines. And again, we've got the Training Academy. The Training Academy provides training around standards. We've got more than 7,500 standards that are there in our circulation. Now, when you look at standards, we talk about standards development. This is where we want SMMEs to participate. This is where we want cooperatives to participate, because many a times it's bigger entities that are participating in the formulations of standards, and SMMEs are not playing a major role, which is a bit of sad purely because you are led by somebody else. You are constantly being dictated by somebody else. And that's why we want SMMEs to participate in these forums and be the ones who inform what goes into a given standard. Now, when you look at the Standards Act of 2008, which gives us the mandate to develop South African national standards and to procure overseas standards, purely because as SABS, an entity that was formed in 1945, an entity that aligns itself with the International Standards Organization, which is based in Geneva, we've got that symbiotic relationship that gives us an opportunity to access those standards. Because we can access international standards, even you as consumers are able to access those standards through SABS. Now, what I'm saying with regards to standards, I said we've got over 7,000 standards. There are committee members. There are over 4,000 committee members. There are over 400 committees. And these are committees that are responsible for the formulations of standards. And they inform what goes into every given standard. And at the end of the day, when you consume that standard, there are technical experts that sat together around the table and they informed what goes into that particular standard. Now, going to the next slide, we then talk about SABS conformity assessment. I spoke a little bit about system certification. You are running a company that provides promotional business. You're promoting other people's business. You are selling other people's business and you want to be certified. You will go for system certification. You are an organization that arranges events for private people, for public entities. You would go for what we call system certification. But again, many times I always encourage SMMEs to often look at system certification, particularly those who are producing detergents. Because when you go for certification producing detergents, it can be extremely expensive and it becomes a deterrent. And therefore, it becomes easier for you to go for system certification until you grow your business. Once you've attracted more clientele, that's then you can look at product certification rather than system certification. I spoke about local content verification. Local content verification is about verifying whether the product that you're producing is produced here at home. In the mining sector, most of their products, must be 60% produced here at home. And therefore, they would request SABS to come and check if those products that they're procuring, 60% of the components are produced here at home. And if not, you get disqualified. But within the government space, you want to sell your school uniform to a school, or you want to sell your school uniform to the DTI, or rather to the Department of Basic Education, and your threshold is above 3 million rands, the Treasury will ask SABS to come in and audit you. How are we going to audit you? It's a 3-tier audit. We are going to audit you and audit your supplier and audit your supplier's supplier. So it's a 3-tier audit. We verify as to whether truly indeed the buttons have been produced here at home. The yen, the material that goes into that tracksuit, the material that goes into that school uniform, does it truly come from South Africa? And if we find that some of the material is not produced here at home, we then report back to Treasury, who will then disqualify you from getting that particular tender. If in the event you realize that none of the material that you are using can be found in South Africa, that's when you go back to DTI and you request for a deviation. And they will grant you a deviation on condition truly that there is no product that is produced here in South Africa. Now, when you look at local content verification, what is interesting, we are now looking at sanitary towels. We have realized that most of the sanitary towels come from overseas, and some of the sanitary towels come from the big 5 within South Africa. And we are now promoting SMMEs. We are saying SMMEs produce sanitary towels here at home. But what we have discovered in that drive, we've discovered that some of the SMMEs that are distributing sanitary towels do not produce them. They buy these sanitary towels from China. Now we are prohibiting people from buying sanitary towels from China. We are prohibiting people from buying sanitary towels overseas. We conduct what we call local content verification. We need people to at least package them here at home. We need people to assemble here the sanitary towels here at home, and we provide training within that space. Then we've got what we call product certification. When you look at Valpre, Valpre has got an SABS mark that says Coca-Cola went for product certification when they went for certification. When you look at Coca-Cola, when you look at Fanta, when you look at Sprite, all those commodities have got an SABS mark purely because they've applied for what we call product certification. You're producing bricks, you'll go for product certification, as I've said earlier on. Then we've got consignment inspection. I spoke about it and I said that's when you're providing an army with uniform. That's when you're providing emergency services with uniform. We will conduct consignment inspection to verify whether that uniform meets the desired specifications. We provide training on various standards. We provide testing of products in various spaces. And allow me to just run. Now, when we talk about system certification, what are we talking about? I've just highlighted a few standards which are pretty much critical. And there's many more, as I've said earlier on. We've got what we call ISO 9001, which is a quality management standard. What do we talk about when we talk about a quality management standard? As an organization, you need to have a mission. You need to have a mission statement. You need to have a vision. You need to have strategic focus areas. You need to have objectives. Now, this is critical for your business because this provides guidance. This provides direction to your business. You need to identify your risks within the organization. What are your risks that are inherent within the business? What are your external risks that can impact on your business? You need to define all of this. You need to have policies. You need to have policies, HR policies, disciplinary policies, recruitment policies. And you then need to have procedures as well. They form part of ISO 9001. When we talk about strategic focus areas, you commit as an organization that we are going to be an honest company. All our dealings are going to be honest. We are going to be a reliable company. In all our dealings, we will be reliable to our suppliers. We will be reliable to our clients. We will be reliable to the society out there. In all our dealings, we will be honest. That's part of your strategic focus areas, your objectives. You say, in your objectives, we endeavor to have limited customer complaints. You can even put a peg on the ground and say, we endeavor to have at least 5% of customer complaints. We need to improve customer service with 50%. This forms part of your objectives. That's what you measure yourself with, making sure that as a business, at the end of the day, there's something that you can look at as a dashboard and say, I'm performing well or I'm performing badly against my objectives and against my strategic focus areas, against my vision and against my mission statement. And unfortunately, as small businesses, we don't have these tools within our businesses. Then we've got what we call ISO 14001, which is the environmental management standard. You are fixing cars. You are a mechanic. Do you have the right environment where you can fix your cars? The area where you're fixing cars, is it cast in concrete so that you capture the grease, you capture the oils that filter into the ground? How do you dispose of your oil? Who disposes of your oil? You're running a mortuary. You're conducting embalments, body embalments. How do you dispose of those body fluids? How do you prepare a corpse before it gets into your fridge in order to avoid the stench that would impact on the environment? These are the control processes that you need to include within your business. You're saying, I don't have an impact, a direct impact on the environment. I run an office. The question would then be, how do you dispose of your bulbs? How do you dispose of your cartridges once they have been used? Then you look at issues such as the light intensity. How often do you measure the light intensity? How often do you measure the air quality within that space? How often do you look at the radiation within your office? That's part of ISO 14001. Then you identify the impacts and aspects. What are the impacts to the environment? What are the aspects that you need to implement to make sure that you control the impacts of the environment? Then we've got what we call Occupational Health and Safety 18001, which is now known as ISO 45000. Now the question is, who does this standard affect? I can safely tell you now, this standard affects all of you who are sitting in that particular forum, whether you're providing a service or you're producing a product. And this is one standard that can take you to jail if you're not complying to, particularly if there are recurring injuries within your business. How do you report those injuries? Do you have control mechanisms in place? Do you have uniform for your staff? How do you issue out the uniform to your staff? Are they signing register to confirm that truly indeed they've received the uniform? Do you have emergency exits? Do you have signages at work? When people are producing bricks, do you provide them with dust masks? How often do you check their health? Do they do some health inspection once a year to verify if the environment they are working on does not impact their health? You're running an abattoir. They are always exposed to cold environment. How do you ensure that they've got the right PPE that protects them from that particular environment? How often do you do emergency drills? That's part of Occupational Health and Safety 18001. And unfortunately, we look at this standard as ISO 45001. We look at it and we say it only applies to the work environment. Many of you at home have got butler proofs in every door and in every window. What happens if there's fire? Do you have emergency escape routes? Do you have fire extinguishers at home? Those who are running canteens, do you have fire blankets? In the event somebody catches fire, will you be able to prep that particular person and take that person out of that environment? Then we've got SANS 2001, which is about construction. I'm not going to get deeper into that because of time. We've got SANS 1043, which is about sanitary towels. The environment in which you produce sanitary towels must be dust-free. It must be clean. It must be spick and span. The glue that you use on the sanitary towels, it must be an edible glue. If it's not edible, then it's not good to go into a human body. It's the same as with your lipstick. If the lipstick goes to your lips, it therefore must be edible. If you cannot eat it, it's not good for your lips. Same as with sanitary towels. The environment must be conducive. It must be ideal for producing such products. Then we've got SANS 10,000. It's about the national building regulations, stormwater disposal. Many a times when you look at RDPs, you realize that this standard is not followed. When it's raining heavily so, most of these houses are flooded purely because some of the standards were not followed. How do you ensure that the foundation is elevated enough to make sure that there's no flooding that is taking place when it's raining? ISO 22,000, food safety. How do you ensure that the food that you're producing for the masses is safe? What type of detergents are you using? Many of you are using Sunlight. Many of you are using jig. You're using pot scrapers. They are not ideal for that food environment. The relevant detergents must be utilized because you're feeding masses. You're feeding school kids as you're running that food scheme at school. And therefore, you need to use the right detergents. And that is why there's food contamination, purely because you're using detergents that are meant for domestic purposes rather than commercial purposes. You look at where I'm staying, or rather where my home is in Tembisa. You drive to Tembisa along Olifantsfontein Road. There are men who are selling food, who are cooking food. They cook food along the side of the road. You look at the ablution facilities. There are no toilets. There's no running water to wash hands. The question is, how do you take care of these things? It's hot now, it's summer. They are wearing those blue overalls and they are sweating, busy stirring that 3-foot pot. You add more salt with your sweat. These are some of the things that you need to really look at in terms of ISO 22,000. HACCP, again, it's about hazard analysis, critical control point. Do you have prerequisite programs that you have implemented because you're producing food? What control measures have you got in place to make sure that the environment where you're producing food is safe? Those of you who want to export meat, who want to export food to overseas countries or even to our neighboring countries, if you want to go for certification, the best certificate for food environment is FSSC. Again, the same principle applies. It's about food safety. I'm just going to skip some of this. This is SANS 1575, which is about bent clay paving. You've got SANS 204, which is about energy efficient buildings. South Africa is going that route now, making sure that the buildings, the new buildings that are being built are energy efficient. You've got SANS 1215 for concrete masonry. That's your stock brick. That's your hollow brick. That's your maxi brick. We've got SANS 1695, that's for your paving bricks, the interlocking bricks, and the bevel bricks. This is the SABS mark that we were talking about. It gives you comfort that the product has been verified, it has been checked against standards. When you look at SAA, in as much as it has got its own challenges, they don't serve any other bottled water except for Valpre, purely because of the SABS mark. Now, I'm going to skip some of this. I'll share the slides with you on condition you want some of those. Now, laboratory testing, we provide performance testing, we provide safety testing, we provide endurance testing, we also provide calibrations. I won't go deeper into consignment inspection. I've already spoken about it. I won't go deeper into local content. I've already spoken about it, but this is the threshold that we are talking about. When we talk about buses, 80% of the components must be produced here in South Africa. When we talk about textile, clothing, leather, and footwear, 100% local. Power pylons, 100% local. Canned and processed vegetables, 80%. One of the worst things about us as a country, we are consuming canned food, and most of this canned food is produced here at home in South Africa, but the processing happens in China. Most of our canned fruits, most of our canned foods are coming from China, yet the products are coming from South Africa. Now we've got what we call rolling stock. Rolling stock, we talk about metro rail, we talk about Gautrain. Their body components must be produced here at home. 65% of those components must be produced here at home. Pharmaceutical products, 73% must be produced here at home, because most of our herbs, they go overseas and they come as final products. Then we've got furniture for the office, 85%, school furniture, 100%, beds and mattress for hospitals and for prisons, 90%, power and telecom cables, 90%, solar water heaters and collectors and storage tanks and geysers, 70%, valves, products and actuators, 70%. Now, when you want to come to SABS and you're struggling, you need to contact the SMME Business Division. It will be able to assist you. I'm going to give you my contact details so that you can be able to contact me and liaise with me. Now, we are accredited locally by SANAS, and overseas we are accredited by Radford Accreditation, so that we can also be recognized internationally. These are some of our clients worldwide. Now, we've got this slide, which is the last slide. I'm not going to talk deeper into this slide. I'm going to talk about the SMMEs that have made it, and yet we need to create a slide for them. The likes of Portia M. When we started with Portia M, she was working from home. Today, she's got her own factory. When we worked with Portia M, she was only using Facebook and all other social media platforms to sell her products. Today, she's at Pick and Pay, she's at Discam, she's at Spar, she's at Clicks. She's in Namibia, she's in Swaziland, she's in Lesotho, she's in Botswana, she's in Nigeria, she's in India. An SMME, a woman who's driven, who ensures that the business has got all the right qualities that needs to succeed. We've got the likes of Shamila in Pushback Ridge, a SMME producing bricks. Today he's pushing more than 80,000 bricks a week. We're talking about just mixed bricks a week. He's pushing stock bricks, more than 100,000 a week. These are SMMEs that we've been able to assist. We've got Bophelo ba Nnete in Northwest, a cooperative which is producing bricks. We've assisted that. We've got Bakiti in the Northern Cape, which is producing bricks. When they first got their certificate, the mines placed bricks for about 2 million for that particular month. Now they've grown to a point that they no longer don't want to be only SANS 1215 certified. They are now looking at ISO 14001 because they are impacting on the environment. There's many more SMMEs that I can talk about that we boast about purely because they've made their mark in this business space. These are my contact details. You can contact me on this. Thank you very much, colleagues, and thank you very much to our critical partners, the SMMEs, as well as cooperatives.
Thank you, Tumi-san. You're the best, my man.
Much appreciated, sir. Do they have all my contact details? Can I remove the slides?
Yeah, we've taken pictures.
Okay. Are there any questions perhaps before I leave?
If only you could email the slides, please.
Okay, I will do that.
Thank you.
I'm just struggling to remove my presentation. technology.
Host, please assist.
Tumzani?
Yes, sir.
I wanted to ask something. I'm into sports and stuff like that. I wanted to make a sports drink. How does that work? Can I get it overseas and hello, Tumzani?
Sorry, colleagues, I was on mute. Can you ask your question again, please?
Oh yes, it's Bongani here. I just wanted to find out. Hi, Tumzani, can you hear me? Okay, it looks like the author just muted us all.
Good afternoon, colleagues. Can you hear me? My name is Jackson Salome. I'm going to be talking to you about the importance of GMP compliance. I prepared a presentation that I will send to Kaukelo for distribution. My topic for today is the importance of GMP compliance. GMP stands for Good Manufacturing Practices, and it's applicable to regulated products, which includes cosmetics, food and beverages, active pharmaceutical ingredients, medicines, medical devices. I think at this stage you might be wondering what GMP is. It stands for Good Manufacturing Practices, and it is basically a quality assurance system which ensures that products are tested for effectiveness and safety. And it also ensures traceability of products and raw materials used in manufacturing them. GMP provides assurance that products do not pose a threat to the public, the environment, as well as the consumers. Now, GMP has got 6 basic principles that manufacturers of products I mentioned earlier need to comply with. First and foremost, suitable facilities. You need to have suitable facilities for manufacturing your products. Facilities must such be that they're adequate for storage of raw materials, as well as for housing the manufacturing equipment, and as well as for housing the dispensing and sampling, as well as quality control facilities. The facilities must also allow for unidirectional flow of materials as well as personnel. The purpose of this is to ensure that there's no cross-contamination between materials and to maintain good product quality. The other principle is basically trained and qualified personnel in your processes. In fact, you as entrepreneurs, as well as the business owners, you need to be trained on GMP in order to understand and appreciate its importance. The other principle is in manufacturing. Your processes need to be documented in the form of standard operating procedures. The people working for you, your operators, for example, your technicians, must then be trained to those standard operating procedures. And the most important thing is that then during manufacturing, those standard operating procedures must be followed. No deviation is allowed at all. The other element is quality control. So quality control entails basically sampling of the products we've manufactured, testing them against set specifications, as well as then release of products to the market. One of the other principles is a system for dealing with customer complaints as well as product recall. The other principle of GMP, which is very important, is traceability. If you have a complaint, customer complaint, or you need to do a product recall, your product needs to be traceable. You need to trace it either by batch numbers, barcodes, etc. But the key thing is you can't recall each and every product that you put in the market. That's why it's so important for each product to be linked to a batch. And therefore, that batch becomes an identity number with which you can trace the product. GMP guidelines are basically documented in ISO standard 22716 of 2007, and the title thereof is GMP for cosmetics. This you can purchase from the international body or even from the SABS. In the USA, the Food and Drug Administration has developed its own set of GMP guidelines. In order to enter the US markets, you need to comply with that set of guidelines. In South Africa as well, there's the Foodstuffs, Cosmetics and Disinfectant Acts, which products I've mentioned earlier are subject to. Why is GMP compliance so important? You may be asking yourselves. It gives assurance to various stakeholders of the product safety as well as its effectiveness. In other words, it assures people that the product does what it's intended to do. And most importantly, it's safe for human consumption or for human use. It then allows you access into the markets. For example, with cosmetics and other products I mentioned earlier, in order to enter the US markets, you need to be audited and to be found compliant to GMP guidelines. The same is applicable to Europe. The other benefit of GMP is that it minimizes the risk of product recalls, wastage in terms of reworking, having to rework products. Let's say, for example, because procedures were not followed. It helps you minimize the risk of harming consumers. But most importantly, it helps you with your products, preventing your products causing fatalities or killing someone, because nobody wants that on their name, I guess. It also, again, as mentioned earlier, it helps with traceability. And ultimately, all these things help you grow your business. I mean, if you can enter the US and European markets with your cosmetic and foodstuffs, you start making a lot of good money. I would just like to highlight a few lapses in quality which could be attributed to GMP lapses recently in South Africa. I won't mention the company name, but you probably all have heard of a popular fruit juice which was recalled recently because there were glass pieces in some of the juice. Now, this poses the risk of glass being ingested by consumers. It's potentially a big problem. We've probably all heard about the processed meat polony, which caused listeriosis. This caused major problems in South Africa because it led to a lot of fatalities. The company, one of the plants was actually eventually closed, and the company is facing a lot of litigation. Many people are suing the company for having lost their loved ones, breadwinners, and so on. You've also probably heard of the canned fish, which was recalled recently due to quality problems. Now, I can't overemphasize the importance of GMP compliance. So, colleagues, I will send this presentation to the Innovation Hub. If you've got any questions, you can contact me via Ms. Khaukelo Tsoka. Thank you. Okay, thank you, James.
Am I on now? 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 But is my mic working properly now? Thank you so very much to all the presenters. We had a last speaker from SIDA who was meant to come and discuss COVID relief funds for you. However, she seems to have left now, so I will ask that everyone after this whole session. Oh, I see. Oh, okay. No, that would defeat, so that we put her under pressure to close quickly. Yeah. When she talks money, people who speak about money will speak very quickly, so I don't have a problem. So otherwise, the gentleman from the municipality will speak afterwards. This has been a very great day, and I will not be making excuses for the tiny hiccups. It's the reality of our time, and I do promise that we will have a seamless production next time. It will iron out all of these issues. I think it's the very first time that we've linked all eKasiLabs across Gauteng to one event where everyone was able to join in such an event. And I think for the most part, the fact that all the information was provided to everyone who attended is a good thing. We will share all of this information with everyone who was in attendance, and you can pass it on to those who did not get to come here today. The last presentation about the SABS was very interesting, especially that now we are seeing new businesses even online. I believe people will start breeding very big snakes very soon, and we'll have to we'll have to establish standards for those too. And unfortunately, those will not be funded, and those standards will not be affected by SABS. But the lady from SIDA is here now. She is ready. I believe not. If she can have the roving mic, perhaps. I am hoping that every single one of you who managed to attend will pass on the lessons to everyone who was not here. I'm also hoping that whilst all of these details might not be familiar, and you'll still get all of the notes to share and read through them, I'm hoping that with each one of these, you will consider the compliance issue, which is key, compliance with SARS. You'll raise your standards as well, SABS, and you'll raise the standards for yourself as well as an entrepreneur. The way you interact with customers, the way you conduct yourself, how seriously you take your business. And I'm hoping that all of you will grow much bigger businesses, that will be successful and create jobs. Our last presenter from SIDA, ma'am, we are ready for you. Mr. Sekhuwa, please provide the roving mic. If the lady can be provided with the roving mic, and mine can be muted.
Afternoon, everyone. My name is Tumisa. I'm from SIDA. I'll be presenting to you just very briefly, our services and offerings, and then I'll go into a little bit more detail, not that much detail, about our COVID relief programs that we are currently running. Okay, first of all, SIDA is a small enterprise. It stands for Small Enterprise Development Agency. We are an organization falling or reporting to the Department of Small Business Development. We offer non-financial business support in terms of development and mentoring, coaching, training, and so on. We assist in 4 stages: talk, start, build, grow. Talk is workshopping. Start is when we train you and assess your idea, train you to implement your ideas. We help you to build your business by implementing systems or implementing or starting new systems or implementing. And then we help with growing your business, whether it's accessing foreign or local or national markets. We have several interventions like access to funding in the form of a business plan. We've got marketing interventions, product testing, or certification that we work with the SABS with you on. We've got several programs like technology transfer funds, Kaizen mentorship that we do with Productivity SA, and several types of training. And then the process is that when you branch or you contact the branch, our branches are in Braamfontein and Kempton Park. When you visit a branch or you contact a branch, we let you know that whether or not we can assist, or the receptionist, and then you then referred to an information officer, that's me, and then you will be assessed on your idea or your operations. And then depending on the level of your operations, you get referred to a consultant who will then do an intervention, and depending on your the improvement on your business, we will record it as a success story, and we measure improvement by an increase in profits or employment. So that's just a brief rundown on our services and offerings. And then I wanted to present mostly on our COVID relief programs. So currently we've been mandated by the Department of Small Business Development to assist with a COVID relief program called Township and Rural Entrepreneurship Program. So as the name suggests, it's for businesses, it's strictly for businesses that are operating in township areas, rural areas, or small towns, and yes, township, rural, and small town, yes. Okay, and then the industries or sectors that are covered is spaza shops, bakeries and confectionaries, clothing, leather and textile, auto body repairs and mechanics, butcheries, chisanyama and cooked food, fruit and vegetable hawkers, and personal care services. And then I'm just going to go, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail because of time. I'm just going to highlight the benefits, the I'll go through the qualification criteria because they're similar for all the programs, and then I will just say what the benefits of each program is. Okay, and for the spaza support program, for the spaza support program, there is a 7,000 Rand a blended funding allowance that is on offer. Half of that will be, so all of the programs are offering a blended allowance, which is half of the funding will be a grant and the other half will be a revolving credit loan. All of these programs offer a financial support aspect and a non-financial support. Non-financial support will come from SEDA and the financial support will come from SIFA. So for the spaza program, there is a 7,000 Rand a blended funding finance on offer. And then we've got a networking or purchasing power, or access to a networking or purchasing power program where spazas can coordinate and they can come together on a bulk buying scheme and purchase stock from identified wholesalers that we will be working with. Okay, and then with regards to bakeries and confectionaries, you receive financial support of 10,000 Rand blended finance for confectionaries and 20,000 Rand blended finance for bakeries. We help to facilitate access to bulk buying from wholesalers that we have identified, and you will receive a facility for input materials, again through the wholesalers. We offer business development support in terms of non-financial assistance, as well as training, business training. And then for clothing, leather, and textiles program, there's a 10,000 Rand blended finance on offer. There's assistance to comply with industry bodies, business management support, and financial participation in the clothing and textile competitiveness program. And that will be part of the non-financial support that you will receive. And then the clothing and leather and textiles program is for the subsectors of seamstresses, sewers, garment makers, pattern makers, designers, pattern calculators, pattern cutters, art designers, knitters, machinists, tannery, fabric manufacturers, shoes, belt, and handbag makers. So as you can tell, we have tried to cover all types of people or businesses that are within that industry. And then I'll move on to the auto body repairs and mechanics. With this program, there is no grant. It's just a revolving credit loan. And then you will receive, that will be backed by CIFA, not by CEDA. The non-financial support will be from CEDA. And then the credit loan will be up to 15,000 Rand. And it's for anybody that does mechanics or motor body repairs or auto spares shops or fitment centers or tire fitment centers. And then part of the non-financial support is also helping you comply with industry bodies and formalizing informal businesses that maybe are operating from their homes. Okay, and then with the butchery support program, there's a 10,000 Rand available in blended finance and business management support. With Chisanyama support is also 10,000 Rand of blended funding, as well as business and financial management training and mentorship, food safety training, and compliance with environmental and quality standards assurance bodies. For the food and vegetable program, there's 10,000 Rand blended finance available, and we facilitate compliance with the Department of Health guidelines, business and financial management training and mentorship, customer service training, and compliance with health and safety guides. And then the last program is for personal care, people in the beauty industry. Is available is 10,000 Rand blended finance, financial management and training and mentorship, customer service management, and occupational health and safety standards compliance. And then I'm just going to run through the qualifying criteria for all of these programs. The entity must be registered with CIP, CSARS, and UIF. If you are not compliant with any of those bodies, we can offer non-financial support at CEDA to help you become compliant. And if any of your businesses don't fall under any of these programs, we do have assistance for you as well. It's not only for, I'm just presenting these programs as it's what we're currently promoting, but we do have assistance for other types of businesses as well. Your employees must be 70% South African, and they must have ID documents to prove it. The owner must apply for a license, you must have a trading license that has been registered at the municipality. You must have a valid business bank account, or you must be willing to open one, and we can assist you with that if you are not compliant in that instance. The entity must have a turnover of not more than 250 to 500,000. Some programs it's a 500, some programs it's a 250. The turnover must not be above those numbers. Otherwise, you only receive non-financial support or development support from CEDA if your turnover exceeds those amounts. You must be willing to participate in our development programs and compliance programs if you are not compliant and if you need assistance with that. And you must register. You must be registered on the smmesa.gov.za portal, which details we will share with the Innovation Hub team. The scheme isn't meant for enterprises and catering services unless they provide a contract in which they are already providing those services for an organization or a department of some sort. Okay, the main thing to take away is to please visit smmesa.gov.za to register and to apply on eservices.gov.za. But those contact details we will share with the Innovation Hub team, and it's quite easy to follow those prompts. And to just populate the necessary areas, and then you just upload your documents, and then on our side we will take your applications, process them, and contact you and assist you with the process of qualifying. Thank you.
Thank you so much. No. Thank you so much to the representative from Kumisa from SEDA. I think it's been a very great experience to have so many government entities coming through today. I believe the nearest SEDA office is actually in Joburg. But what we will do is that as soon as quite a number of you are ready to do the applications, or if you have questions, we can make a plan to have one rep coming through. Or alternatively, with the TV that is available inside the lab itself, we will make a plan to actually make sure that we can beam and then have live questions for those who stay around here. We can always do that now that we know that the technology allows for us to actually access all of these. And I do promise that all of that will be much better at a later stage. Thank you so much to everyone who joined us, both here and remotely. With all of the support that we have as eKasiLab, including the fact that when we are hosted in the different areas, it's normally the local municipalities, the metro councils, that actually provide us with hosting and enable us to deliver the services in those areas. Here in the West Rand as well, that has been the same, and Mr. Zwani is here to actually share a few kind words. Immediately after he has spoken, the live feed to all the other labs will be cut immediately, and therefore my work with you now is done. I will kindly ask that immediately after he has delivered his few words, that you wait for a few minutes and I will come and share the instructions of how we can go out and get the refreshments. But thank you for being so supportive, and thank you for being supportive of each other, and keep the fire burning, build those businesses, create those jobs, and keep on keeping on. Mr. Zwani, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Program Director. My name is Mxolisi Zwane. I'm responsible for enterprise development at Rand West City. My work is just to ensure that the programs like this, they do happen in our space. So yeah, in those few words, I'm given a task just to show you where you came in, and actually thank you for being here. Let me start by thanking the team, the innovation team, the whole team, and eKasiLab across Gauteng, just for being with us and bringing this kind of programs to our entrepreneurs. Let me take this opportunity also to thank the stakeholders who presented from various platforms, CIPC, Productivity SA, SABS, SARS, SEDA, and also Mr. Selome. And most importantly, I would like to thank you, the entrepreneurs in various platforms, for just making a time on your busy schedules. I know it is difficult sometimes just to leave your business and come here just for information. But I would like to thank all of you for being here with us. Also the mentors, I hear there is mentors that also joined us. And then I would like also to thank the technical team for providing the PA system. Hopefully this is not the last one. And I would also like to thank the program director for just keeping the flow on this whole program throughout the day. I know it's very tiring. And also, I would like then to thank myself for thanking you. I mean, it's only fair to do that. Here, around here, we're only housing so far Innovation Hub and Gauteng Prize Propeller. So we're hoping that we are going to get SEDA on board so that this program shouldn't be very far from you guys. This enterprise hub is meant for that. We need to bring all these agencies that they've got money, they've got the reliefs in here. So I can see the lady from SEDA is busy with the snapshots there. But I would like to challenge you to make it happen that you come to the center. We still have space for that. So we'll work hard from our office just to bring in also CIPC and all of this other compliance agencies. So with those few words, guys, I would like to thank the actual support that you are showing and the interest in your businesses. I know it has been a tough year. It might still be very tough even next year. So, but the fact that you are here, you've heard the information. I mean, for me, it's a work done. So in those few words, I would like to thank you. Thank you very much.